All right, boys and girls, we're back. We're going to do our insect videos now. Okay, so we got a few things that we're going to talk about first. We'll talk about this drawing that I have on the back, and I also have an insect book. Okay. All right, so the first thing is we need to know some things about insects. Okay, so I'm going to hold my insect, and I actually got a bunch of insects here, but we'll hold this one. This one right here is a praying mantis that we talked about before. Okay, if you can see that. All right, now there are certain things that insects have that other things don't. Okay, now if you remember, we talked about spiders earlier this year, and a spider is not an insect. Do you remember what it's called? It's called a what? Arachnid. Arachnids. Okay, and arachnids have 2 body parts, and arachnids have 8 legs. Okay. Now, an insect is different, okay? So the first thing is, we gotta talk about its body parts. It has 3 body parts, okay? It's got a head, it's got a thorax, and an abdomen, okay? And you can see that back here. It's got a head, right there, head, a thorax, and an abdomen, all right? And we'll label those after a bit here, okay? The other thing that's different that you can see is it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. 6 legs. Now you might say, well, Mr. Krager, I see insects or bugs all the time. Well, here's the thing. Bugs and insects are different a little bit, okay? Now this is an insect because it has 6 legs and 3 body parts. If you find something in your basement or maybe in your shower, sometimes it's got like 1,000 legs or 100 legs, okay? Those are called centipedes, right? Now, we just said it had how many legs? It had like 100 legs, okay? And it has a whole bunch of body parts. So would that be an insect then? No, that's not an insect. Okay, that's some other type of bug. Okay, so you gotta be careful. Make sure that insects have 6 legs and 3 body parts. Okay, now some of them you can see, like on this one, you can see that's got antennas on the top. Okay, most of them do have antennas. Now we said arachnids, they don't have any antennas. Okay, they don't have any. All right, and we also know that sometimes they also, like this one, have little things, wings. Now, not all insects have wings though. Okay, lots of them do, but not all of them. Okay, so they have to have 6 legs, they need to have 3 body parts, okay, and they need to have antennas on the top, some of them, wherever that went. Did you take that?
What?
Oh, here it is. All right, so they gotta have antennas, okay, and some of them have wings, okay? All right, now they do have lots and lots of eyes, okay? Lots of them have things called compound eyes. And you're like, what the heck, Mr. Craig? I don't even know what that word means, okay? So compound eyes means they have a whole bunch of eyes together, okay? So if this is their eye, well, spiders have individual eyes. So like flies, if you ever smack a fly, look at its eye, and it looks like it has a bunch of little circles all over its eyeballs.
It's a fly.
Well, that's a dragonfly. Okay? And it looks real weird. It looks like it has a whole bunch of little eyeballs, okay, inside one eye. Okay? That's called a compound eye, where a whole bunch of them are together in one circle eye. Okay? They're used to, if you ever see a kaleidoscope, okay, so you have to ask your mom and dad what those are if you don't know. So a kaleidoscope is something that you look in, and if you turn it, it looks like a whole bunch of different things that it changes what you're looking at. Okay? Those are what kind of like a insect eye looks like. All right? Okay? So they do have lots of eyes. All right? Okay, so I'm looking at my notes here on my computer. So we talked about 6 body part, or 6 legs, not 6 body parts, 6 legs, 3 body parts, lots of eyes, antennas. Ooh, we didn't talk about this. Now, do insects have bones? Do insects have bones? Jackson's saying no. No, insects don't have bones, okay? So, but you're thinking, okay, if I squish a bug, a bunch of gooey stuff comes out, right? So is a bug made of goo? No, Jackson's saying no. So how does it keep its body up? We talked about our bones, that we have bones and it keeps our body up, right? If we didn't have bones, we'd be a bunch of floppy skin on the ground, right? So how does an insect stay up? Well, here's how.
Skin.
Well,
Skin.
no, insects don't have skin.
Don't?
No.
What the heck is it called then?
Okay, so insects have something. You ever step on a bug or an insect and you hear this crunch
Yeah.
sound? You heard a crunch sound? Okay, that's because insects have something special. It's called an exoskeleton. All right, now our bones, when we put them together, that makes a skeleton, right? A regular skeleton. An exoskeleton is an outside skeleton, right? Exit means to go outside, so exo means outside skeleton. So it's a skeleton on the outside. So when you step on an insect and it goes crunches, you are crushing its exoskeleton. So it's got protective covering around the outside that's crunchy or hard, okay, and when you step on it, it crunches, okay?
What is a bee?
And that's called an exoskeleton.
What is a bee?
A bee is an insect, okay? So we got a whole bunch of these little bugs, and if we were at school, you guys would have got to sort them a little bit, okay? And Jackson did that. So I'll show you over here. So Jackson, he actually sorted all the insect, okay? So we got bees, and we got some kind of beetles, and another beetle. I don't know what that kind of bug is.
Ladybug.
Okay. Yeah, you got ladybugs. We got moths. Okay, we got grasshoppers over here. All kinds of other beetles. Okay, crickets and stuff. Yeah, look at that one. That one's a little, what do we say this? Praying mantis. These are little praying mantises. Okay, and then we got dragonflies.
Dragonflies.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to look back here at this drawing. We're going to talk about this drawing here. We're going to label it, okay? So if we remember, this is an insect, okay? And it has these two things on top. Do you remember what those are called? What are the two things at top called, Jackson? Antennas. Okay, so those are called antenna. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. The rope's kind of small. I'll pull it forward with me a little bit. Okay, they have this top part, which is called their head. Okay, they got a part that's in the middle. Now, in the middle of our body is where our abs are. We call that our abdomen. Okay, remember we talked about that? But in an insect, its abdomen is not in the middle. Its abdomen is actually way down here. So its abdomen is way down there. Okay. Right here in the middle, though, it's got something else that's called a thorax. Thorax. Okay, and I wrote that up and down. All right, now you can see these blue lines. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and what are those things called? Yeah. Legs. They have 6 legs. Okay, so we're going to write 6 legs. Okay? Now, and then we have these things. And what are those things called? Wings, right? Now, insects usually will have 2, 4, or 6 wings. Okay? So they have wings.
This one has 2 ladybugs.
All right? And then we remember that the whole thing that covers them, that crunchy part, is called an exoskeleton. Exoskeleton. Okay? And I'll bring you guys forward a little bit so you can see that. Okay? So you can see all the parts that we labeled here. Okay, so we have antennas, we have a head, a thorax, an abdomen. Okay, we have 6 legs. Okay, we have wings. Remember, they can have 2, 4, or even 6 legs. And then we remember it has an exoskeleton. Okay? All right. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about before we read our book is insects. How do they have other baby insects? Do they just pop out? Like maybe a cat has babies, or your mom might have a baby brother or sister. It just comes out of their bellies? Nope. Insects actually lay eggs. Okay? And usually there's a queen. Okay? Or
yeah, like a queen ant.
A queen ant or queen bee, for those things that live in colonies. Now, for something like a praying mantis, the female, which is the girl, okay, gets a boyfriend, right? And they have eggs. But guess what the female does when it's done having babies with the boy? It eats it. It eats the boy praying mantis. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. The girl praying mantis goes with the boy praying mantis. They make eggs, and then she's like, "Ooh, you look like a tasty treat, so I'm going to eat you." That'd be weird, right? If your mom ate your dad.
Then you wouldn't be alive.
Yeah, then you wouldn't be alive. Then your dad wouldn't be around. Okay? All right.
No boys.
Let me
can be
check,
around.
make sure that I didn't
Oh,
forget anything before I read
no
our book.
boys.
Okay. All right. So we talked about all those things. We talked about highs, insects. Okay, we said how spiders are not insects. They are arachnids, right? Arachnids.
There's no.
All right. So we're going to read this book, and this is What is an Insect? Okay. This is one of our science books. Okay. It is by Jeff Bauer. Okay, from Scholastic. All right. So here we go. Hopefully we don't get cut off. Okay. All right. Ready? It says about insects. Hooded leaf mantis. Look at that thing. That is weird. Okay, it says, look at this incredible
saw a
creature. It is is it a monster? Is it a space alien? No, it is an insect. Okay, let's look over here. It says an insect's body is covered in a hard
one.
exoskeleton. What we talked about. What makes an insect an insect? First of all, insects have hard bodies. They are soft inside. Insects don't have any bones. An insect's body has 3 parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Insects have 2 antennae and 6 legs. Right, so then you can see that on this page. So here's the insect. It says insect parts. We have antenna. We have it pointing to the head, eyes, thorax right here in the middle, abdomen down here, and here is a leg. Okay? A leg. All right, next page. It says, this is a scarlet dragonfly. Okay, and this is what a dragonfly's wing looks like up really close if we used a special like magnifying glass. Okay, some insects don't fly, but most of them do. Some have 2 wings and others have 4. How many wings does this dragonfly have? Well, if we go up and count, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Sometimes people use the name insect for spiders, millipedes, and earthworms. This is wrong. They are not insects. Okay? Check the chart to see why. All right, well, let's check this chart. Okay? So it says, what is not an insect? It has 8 legs. So can it be an insect? No, it has 8 legs. Instead of 6 legs. Its body is divided into 2 parts, not 3. It has many legs. Its body is not divided into 3 parts. Okay, so that's one of those millipedes, like has 1,000 legs or whatever. Okay, and then a worm's not even a bug or an insect, right? It's just something that crawls in the ground. Okay, it has no legs. Its body is not divided into 3 parts. So that's wrong there. Okay. There sure are a lot of creatures that are insects. There are ladybugs and bees. There are butterflies, flies, and ants. Let's learn all about insects. Okay, so there's some of those on there. All right, insect senses. All right, insects have amazing senses. They do not have a nose like you do. The insects use their antennae to smell. And that's what these 2 arrows are pointing to, their antennas. Look, a fly tastes with the tiny hairs on its feet. That's weird. Okay. How do insects taste things? Some of them use their feet. Take a look at this fly. It is tasting some spilled jelly. That's weird. So like if a fly lands on you, it might be tasting you. That'd be weird.
Or an ant.
Yeah. All right, now this is a katydid, okay? A katydid's ears are here. Look where it's pointing, like on its knee. That's weird. How do insects hear? Some of them use their legs. Believe it or not, this katydid's ears are under its knees. A dragonfly has compound eyes. Each eye is made up of 30,000 tiny lenses. Wow. Insects have special eyes. They can see the tiniest movement. That is why a dragonfly always darts away before you can catch it. All right, insect skills. A grasshopper can jump 20 times the length of its body. Insects have many special skills. They can fly, climb, and run. They can also hop. Goodbye, grasshopper. Now, 20 times your body, if you lay down and measured yourself on the ground 20 times and see how far you are, so put something there and then go back to where you started, could you jump that far? That'd be like me jumping from one side of my basement all the way to the other side. There's no way I could do that. Some insects are great at hiding. They use their colors and shapes to blend in. This is called camouflage. And look, this is a stick insect. See that? That right there is the stick insect. And then this one down here, this is a leaf insect. And you can see right here, that's the leaf insect. Kind of blends right in, doesn't it? That's pretty cool. All right. Some insects make sounds to communicate. This one chirps. It can be heard a quarter mile away. Okay, now a quarter mile from our school is like from our school to McDonald's. Okay, maybe not quite that far. Okay, but these are cicadas. Now, lots of times you can hear them in your trees in the summertime, and they shed their exoskeleton, and you can find it. These are called cicadas. Okay, and you can find them on your trees, and they make a sound. My grandma used to have a whole bunch of them at her house when I was little. You could always hear them in the summertime. Okay, maybe you can look up some pictures of what cicadas look like, or even on YouTube what they sound like. You know, I'm sure you will understand what they mean. A special chemical makes a firefly's tail glow. Now, what do we call a firefly?
A firefly?
Do we call it a lightning bug?
I call it a firefly.
Yeah. Okay. Some insects even light up. Fireflies flash their tails to meet other fireflies and scare away predators. Wow. All right. So many insects. This is a Karen's birdwing butterfly. That's a hard one to say. This butterfly has a wingspan of 6 inches. Now, 6 inches, that's as big as my hand. Can you imagine a butterfly's wings as big as my hand? That's huge. Okay? Scientists have discovered more than 1 million different kinds of insects. There are tiny ones and huge ones. There are insects with pretty patterns. There are insects with spots and stripes. This is a shield bug, and this is an Amazonian grasshopper. The top one is, this cricket lives in the desert. This snow midge lives in Antarctica. Remember, Antarctica is the South Pole. Insects live in many habitats. Some live where it is hot. Some live where it is cold. A diving beetle. Diving beetles can eat tiny fish. Some insects live in trees. Some live on the ground. Splash. A few even live in the water. Crazy. All right, last page. Here we go. A lot of insects live near you. Just go outside and take a look. Butterflies are around in the days of the dinosaurs, it says. All right. Yeah, butterflies. Okay. All right, so that's all about insects today. Okay. So see if maybe you can go find some insects, maybe around your house or in your basement